Yeah. So like uh, that was one thing that many of people over here wanted to know, that your transition from mechanical to CSC and about the Oracle thing. Uh, Many a times, like you have been in various leadership positions, as we have gone through a LinkedIn. So what's your call on leadership? Like uh, how do you observe leadership as a thing over there? How you have applied it rather than that, I could say.
Yeah, so I think there is a fundamental difference between how US corporate world is versus how Indian corporate world is. So in US, you're either hands-on, you can still be a vice president, but you're hands-on with the technology,
Mm-hmm.
or you are totally a people person. So you're not hands-on with the technology, but you're just managing the people, managing the work, and that kind of stuff. So the way I apply it is, if you want to really do exciting things, you need to be more like a technology person, not a people manager. People managers are more like HR people. That's how I
Okay.
view it. But it's your personal interest. There's nothing
Mm-hmm.
one is good versus other. But some people get more excited about doing cool things, building something new, or architecting something new, or inventing new products. So you need to pick which side you want to be. And then in US, it doesn't matter what work you do. If you are a mechanical engineer or civil engineering, or even you do very basic like a shop work, whatever you do, but if you are good at that, then you quickly go up in the leadership. So, so in my observation, it doesn't matter where you start, like
Mm-hmm.
whether what kind of engineering background you have, it doesn't matter. But as long as you're always challenging yourself, you're making yourself uncomfortable. That's the word I use it. So what do I mean by that? Is like, if you're comfortable at going to work, that means you're not learning anything new in that role.
Okay.
That's why you're comfortable, because you already know stuff. Even if you're in the sleep, somebody asks you, you can tell him, okay, this is what you do. So that means that role you became more comfortable. So there is nothing new to learn in that role for you now. So you need to make yourself uncomfortable. Like, you should feel like, oh, I don't know this part. What do I do? Then you go and research or do something about it. And that's how you grow up in the organization or in your skill set. Sometimes, you may not want to go up in the organization, but you want to increase your skill set.
Mm-hmm.
That may be what excites you more. So leadership is, it's all about how you look at it, but you need to be always, as I said, you need to be uncomfortable all the time in the role. That means you're learning something new.
Like life starts out of the comfort zone.
Yeah.
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 Uh,
Otherwise, like for example, this pace. I did not give you the history of the pace.
yeah.
Do you
I
want
was
me to go ahead with the history?
I'll come to it, sir.
Oh, you'll come to that. Yeah, that
Yeah.
was very interesting story. And then you will realize people like me who are like totally shy kind of a people, less social, and then how it turned around when I started the pace. So it was
Mm-hmm.
pretty interesting story at the time.
Like let's begin. So like how it was, like when you started it. Like we have read somewhere there was an email from your side, but like
Uh-huh.
we want to hear it from you, that how actually it started, how was the genesis of Pace, how did you sow the seeds, and like it has completed 25 years in this year. So like we are equally excited to hear it from you, that how
Yeah, I
was
mean,
the journey.
yeah, I think, but I started it, but I'm sure, the people after me, all my juniors, they kept it up. And then people
Mm,
like you, were continuing the spirit of the
yeah.
pace. But see, as I mentioned, I came as a second year student to Walchand.
Mhm.
So when I came for second year, I was like academically good, but socially like average. I don't mix with new people. If I know somebody, I'll talk. That kind of, that's how I was. And I was always in more in the bookish
Okay.
world rather than a social world. So in second year, I thought, maybe let me join some clubs. So
Mm-hmm.
I started trying to explore the clubs, and then there used to be a club called Sneha Club. I don't know if it survived still.
No,
And
no,
there is the
not
Leo Club. There was another one like Lions Club,
the.
like a for students is called Leo Club. So there were those two clubs. I tried to get in, and then they said, our induction is over. We don't have slots now because you came in second year. I think you froze again, looks like. Gagan, I think you froze. Okay. Let's wait.
Yeah. Sorry, sir.
Yeah,
Like you
yeah.
mentioned about
So
Leo Club and Sneha Club, they have
yeah,
stopped there.
so yeah, so I went to Sneha Club. I did not get in, and then Leo Club. I did not get in. So my second year just went like that. I think you froze. Are you there?
No,
Yeah,
yeah, I'm
you
there, sir.
can. Okay. So, and then my second year just went like that. And then as we came into the third year, it was 1993. Then some of the
Mhm.
people who are like me who did not get into the clubs, we started realizing, we need to have some kind of, sessions around, how to do group discussions, how to do the debates, so that, you can participate in the interviews and be, come out like successful out of the interviews. So to do that, what we did is, we started having, club meetings, like kind of, 4 or 5 people in a hostel, just trying to exchange
Mhm.
the ideas, try to take a topic, discuss the topic. But but soon we realized that we need somebody who has some knowledge to give us a feedback, because, just discussing within the friends, it doesn't give you much feedback. Like, you need a critical feedback. Critical
Mhm.
means something somebody can really tell you how to improve. So we thought, let's go and start try to get a classroom, and also get some staff advisor to help us. So we started exploring who can help us. So we found one, like Kulkarni sir. I don't know his, initials, but he was ready to help us in mechanical department. But to get a classroom, you need to get a permission from principal, so
Mhm.
that you can be a club, official club. And then we went to the principal, and then principal said, "We have already so many clubs. I don't need a new one. Just go join one of the club." So at that time, as I said, there were a lot of clubs, but none of the club was focusing on what we were looking for. Some place where you can prepare the speeches, do the debates, maybe do some CAT preparation or GMAT
Yeah.
preparation, and then gate preparation. Those kind of things. Not many people had it. So, but as I said, we were all like kind of, good students. Everybody had a good, like academic background, but not
Mhm.
necessarily a good in social. So we started approaching, I was from mechanical. I approached mechanical department HOD. There was a guy from electrical. He approached electrical department HOD. And then similarly, computer science. So we all approached our department heads and some professors, and then we wrote like a one paragraph of what is this club going to do if we start. And then we took signatures from all these professors saying that, oh, this is a good club, you should encourage. And then we again went back with that paperwork to principal, and then principal said, okay, fine, I'll let you guys do it. So he approved the club. And then, but as I said, it's a small group, only 5, 6 people were there. So
Yeah.
to have any kind of a club, any kind of a meeting, you need a bigger mix. You cannot just do with 5 people. So at that time, then we started going into individual classrooms to
Mhm.
tell people, advertise like, hey, we are starting a new club. Do you want to join? And then we focused on the first year students, second year, third year. But we're all, as I said, we're all like less social people. So I don't know how effective we were initially trying to market that. But in that process, you see that we were at a point where we are very less social to become, completely social, just in the
Yeah.
process of starting the club itself. Not even we didn't start the club, just to start the club, just we had some kind of a idea, and then we had some goals that we want to do this, and that just helped us get started on the social side of the world. And then slowly after that, we had a first induction meeting, and then we were blown away. Level 200 people showed up, 200
Okay.
students showed up, because a lot of people, I think they like having fun, but they were also, career oriented people. And then
Mm-hmm.
all the students, they want to improve. That's what we lack in our education system. We only focus on the subject, but not on the soft skills. So
Yeah.
if 200 people came up, so it was a very big meeting. And then I was kind of sweating to, address the meeting, to be frank, because it's a first time, and you were just trying something, but it happened. So you don't know what to do. So I was, whatever I was sweating also, still I did my whatever presentations I need to do,
Yeah.
just to tell them what is the club, like agendas will be, how we will do the meetings, what is our schedule. And then somehow, then we were in the middle of 1994, and that's when we did like a 2-day workshop.
Mm-hmm.
We did an entrepreneurship workshop where we invited MIDC folks to tell, what is the process to start a new enterprise. We had some bank person who came and who explained, how to apply for the loan, and then those kind of things. We had a mock UN session, like what
Mm-hmm.
happens in the UN. And then
Yeah.
we also did aptitude tests, just for the people to practice, all those non-academic questions, what you to do. And in the club meetings, we were doing, speeches initially, like people prepare the speech and come, they share what they have, and then we will give feedback on that, some group discussions. So it was pretty interesting journey. And then one last thing on that is, now the group was primarily made up of first year students and the final year students, because final year students are the one who started the club, and first year are the one who got inducted.
Yeah.
And then and then when we were leaving, now we realize, how is this club going to survive if you have final year and the first year students only. So we had to again do some more, induction from second year and third year, forcefully, to request guys. And it was more like requesting. I said, guys, come on, we need you.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, this club is not going to survive once we leave. So eventually we got, very less population, but we got some third year and second year students, and they owned the, torch when we left.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm pretty happy for the folks, the way you guys are using the club. It's a forum, and it's run by the, students themselves, and they can mold it the way you want it. So, but
Yeah.
it works out very well. And like people like me, I can still think back and see that those are the first things I did, something social. So it stays
Mm-hmm.
with you. Anything you do first time in your life, it
Yeah.
stays with you. Even if you have a, first time, if you go out for a lunch, at like a fancy restaurant, it stays with you that, hey, this is what I did. So that's how in my memory, it's the first time I did something socially, involved thing.
Like you have mentioned about the first time, like you
Hmm.
have started P.A.C.E over here, and we know that you are heading few of the startups. Like those are really doing great. So like, is there any similarity between starting a club and starting a startup? Like, how did it? How will you correlate these two things?
Yeah, I think it is. I mean, the way I look at it is, it's not what you start, it's about your attitude. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't matter what you start. You can be starting a non-profit, you could be starting a family business, or you could be helping somebody else with something like a coaching classes. People start, all those kind of things. It is your attitude. If you have an attitude to find out something which is not available in your area, like you think, something is not available, or something is not available efficiently. Like for example, if you realize there is no good coaching class in Sangli, and then you
Hmm.
went through that process, and then you think, no, I need a better education for people. Or sometimes everything is there, but it's very costly. You want to make it cheap. So that is attitude to help, a lot of times you make money, money is by default, it follows you. That's what a lot of
Mm-hmm.
people forget. Money is not the first thing you chase for. You chase for a good idea, and then you want to have attitude of giving a better service, whatever is that could be. It could be a cheaper cost, better coaching, or cheaper food. You make a food, you sell food, or you grow food. It doesn't matter what you do, but you should have an idea, and then you should be totally invested in the idea. But once it is a good idea, you have good quality, then people will follow you. So that's what exactly happened to the pace. It was a good idea, and then we were a very small group, but we had a good idea, and we pushed for to the principal. We set it up as a club, and we had 200 people show up. We didn't. So same thing is with any kind of enterprise. If you want to do it, don't look for the margin first. Look for how you can serve your customer, whatever is your customer. Either student is a customer, or is
Okay.
some population is customer, or it's something else is your customer.
Yeah, okay.
So I think it's fairly similar. It's an attitude, and then how your attitude to help solve some problem. Basically, that's how I would say.
Yeah, like we have read that like few two more people, including you, were there like for founding of Pace. Like we
Yeah.
want to know more about them. Like who were they and where they are currently now. Like,
Yeah, one was Dakard, but I lost touch with them. That was something. So one was Dakard. He joined after that college. He joined Telco
mm-hmm.
in Pune, and then I don't know what happened after that, because so he was from electrical engineering. I was from mechanical. So the way it
uh,
worked is, we started it, but somehow, our interests were a little bit different. So we never connected. And another guy was, Sudhir Sonamane. He used to be my roommate
mm-hmm.
in the hostel. So he ended up taking job in, somewhere in Kalyan. But I also lost touch with him too. So I
Okay.
don't have much touch. Mm.
Like we have got few questions.
Uh-huh.
So Apurva asked, "Hello, sir. How did your experience with Pace help you in the corporate world?"
Yeah.
Uh,
So it's like, I think I already covered the theme. The theme is, I know now, tomorrow if I'm in the office, I don't do what I'm comfortable with. If I see some
uh,
opportunities, some issues, I approach my boss saying that, hey, I can help you here, but I don't
okay.
ask for raise. Like a lot of times people, what they do is they start off saying that, can you give me more money? Can you give me
Mm-hmm.
promotion? I'm not looking for title change. I'm not looking for salary change. All I'm saying is, I see a problem in the company. This is where it is not working. I can help, or I can do that. You want me to do. But the moment you keep doing that, what happens is you become more valuable to the company. Then company see that, okay, this guy is doing much more than what he's paid for. I don't want to lose him. And then they immediately either give you a position change or a salary increase. They do that automatically. I don't Today also, I don't ask my boss like, can you give me more promotion or more bonus? I don't ask. I said, I see this problem, Dan. Do you want me to work on that? I can help you. So, and see, the boss mentality, the way the leaders in the company look for is, they want less problems to come up to them. If they
Mm-hmm.
say that there is a problem, hey, tell it to Damodhar, he will take care. So that's all. Because at the end of the day, he has 15 people, 20 people to manage.
Mm-hmm.
The less problems he gets to him, he's more comfortable in his life. So that's how I approach it. So if you have that attitude, then I think you can definitely succeed.
Okay. So shall we take another question?
Yeah, go ahead.
Like surely you must have faced some hardship while establishing your idea startup. So would you like to ask, like, what kept you motivated? What kept you pushing? And what kept you interested to pursue that dream? Like basically,
Yeah,
when you are like when the times were low, what did motivate you? Basically, to put it in simple words.
yeah. I think it is also my mentality. Like, if I start something, if it is stuck, I cannot go to sleep. I need to
Mm-hmm.
push it. So, so for example, any small thing, like if I'm trying to apply for a loan from the bank, for example. Okay, it's a very small
Mm-hmm.
task, a lot of people do when you buy a home or something. And then you go there and he said, some paperwork is missing. So what do you do? A lot of times, you try to find ways, maybe contact a bank manager or his friend or his relative. So
Mm-hmm.
like that, you constantly try to solve that gap. So that is what is my mentality. If I was stuck, as I said, principal did not approve. So we were falling apart. All of my friends, they said, let's just give up, man. Let's try to do within the hostel. I said, but it is something very good. And plus, people like us who are good at studies, they don't want to suffer. I don't want them to suffer when you go to interviews, because a lot of times you see people score very high marks in the subjects,
Mm-hmm.
but when you ask them to talk, they're like sweating already.
Yeah.
They're sweating and they're blabbering, and that's not because they cannot speak, but it's only because they did not practice that skill. Because
Mm-hmm.
when you go home, you talk to your mom, dad, or your uncle, you will be like chatterbox. We talk
Yeah.
so many things, but when you have like 10 other strangers, you will feel like so uncomfortable. Why? Just because you think that whatever you say, people may find fault in that. But that's fine. If they find a fault, what a big deal. How many people
Mm-hmm.
like our politicians right now? See, all our politicians, you take US or India politicians, 50% of the population doesn't like them. But they're
Yeah.
confident. They go up on the stage, they talk. So that's a skill you need to know. You need to be invested in your idea. As long as you like your idea, you keep pitching, you will find some audience who will like it, some audience who will not like it.
Yeah. Okay.
So I
Like.
would say it is your attitude to solve the problem. Don't live in the middle. If you
Mm-hmm.
have that attitude, you started it, you take it to the finish line, then you will be successful.
It's been a 25 years journey from Walchand to US, like currently where you are. So,
Mhm.
like, is there change in personality of Damodar who was over here and who is over there right now? Like, what is the change you could say in these 25 years?
Yeah, the change is two things. I mean, when you're younger, when you're independent, you feel that you can change the world a lot of times,
Mm-hmm.
but it's a good thing. It's a good thing, but when you're younger, you think, anything is possible. I can do
Yeah,
a lot of things.
yeah,
But when you're a little bit older, so what happens is now I need to look for, what my wife's opinion is on if I want to
mm-hmm.
do something, and how will it impact my kids. Like they go to school, they go to activities, they have vacation. So if they have vacation, if I'm trying to do some, say I want to do some side business, and then they will be crying at home, they're saying, no dad, we need to go out, I don't want you to spend some more time in the office, so take a vacation. So there are certain age based, I would say,
Mm-hmm.
age dictates what you can do, family responsibilities and age. And other thing is you become more mature too. That's a good part, where you know that even if something happens, it's not the end of the world. Because as the time goes on, you learn that failure is not a big thing. If I don't get in here this job, I'll try something else. So that is also a little bit, you get a stability, like a maturity and stability. uh, and then the third thing is, but in this age, I see that young people have more opportunity now, because it's internet based technology. Everything is internet based. You can be sitting anywhere doing some apps and become like a millionaire in no time. Or you could be inventing some technology and sharing that information. You could be a blogger, you could be a video,
Mm-hmm.
do some skills, whatever even you could do some any kind of, if you know more our traditional stuff, like you do some ayurveda, some yoga. If you have those skills, those are also very popular now. You can be, like, people get medical tourism for that kind of work. Like people from all
Mm-hmm.
over the world come to India. Like I know Pune is a big hub for yoga camps. All over the world come there. So even if you know traditional stuff like 5,000-year-old stuff, you can still do a lot of things. So information is available now these
Mm-hmm.
days. So landscape has changed. I would say the way world looks at the things has changed. But personally, I became more mature. I take maybe less risk now, and then I need to
Okay.
think about few other people. before I do anything. Before it was only
Mhm.
me, I do whatever I wanted to do.
Okay.
So that's a
Uh,
big change.
like there was another question from Aditya. Like, how does your network help you in your corporate life?
Yeah, that's a very good question. So the way it works now, I used to do a lot of contracting because I don't do full time. A lot of times I was doing contracting most of the time. Why? Because it pays
Mhm.
you more, and then you are free to move around. If you don't like this company, just get another. That's how I've been doing here. But the network helps very well in terms of, like, for example, today if I want to get any senior role, I just apply
Mhm.
on the job board. I may not get it, but if I find somebody who I worked with, and then he is in that company or he became a VP somewhere else, I just
Mhm.
approach him. I say, hey, I'm interested in this role, and he can hire me easily. Why? Because it goes back to the original concept I told you. Bosses have a lot of problems. They want somebody who can handle them.
Mhm.
So they don't want somebody to bug them all the time for small things. And then, so if already said, hey, I like Damodar, if I get him in, I don't have to worry about this section of the work now. He will take care. So I will have less problems to solve. So that's why, yeah, your network is a key. As you grow up, a lot of times people find jobs just through networks. That's all. The job boards doesn't work as you go up the organization.
Okay. Like there is another question. Like you've been like so influential. Any personality which has inspired you the most? Like any personality, any figure, anyone from back family, anyone who has inspired you through the bad times.
Yeah, I think I definitely, I would say, my family, definitely my brother had a lot of
Mm-hmm.
influence on me because
Okay.
when he studied in Andhra, but he came in the middle to Bombay after, because he was with grandparents and all that. He
Mm-hmm.
came, and then he was struggling a lot to adjust in terms of the language and all that. But he showed me, like, things are possible if you aim for it. That is one. So that's why I like you know his guidance and all that. And other thing is, definitely, I like Mahatma Gandhi, the way
Okay.
he has done it. Because look at him, he was so comfortable, he was educated, he could have made so much money. He doesn't have to
Mm-hmm.
give up anything, but he felt that there is a need, that I'm more comfortable, but there is a need in the society that we need freedom. That was his. Otherwise, if you look at his skill, look at his background, he was like LLB at the time from South
Yeah.
Africa. So he could have made so much money. He could have been like Tata's, if he wanted. He could have just
Mm-hmm.
set up something and grow that like a big Tata empire, like a Gandhi empire. He could have done that. So I think, so I like, what I like in Gandhiji is because he saw a problem and he wanted to solve, he just dedicated himself for that. So like that in your life, if you see something you want to do, if you want to do entrepreneurship, that's fine, that's your passion. But find some problem you want to solve, and then money will follow you. Or if you're like a totally like a non-profit kind of a guy who just want to do like seva to the society, that's
Mm-hmm.
fine too. There are so many organizations, so many places where you could be doing that. So it's your passion. Find your passion and follow that.
Okay. Like we have got a next question that your LinkedIn profile mentions about your project with TCS turned out to be a stepping stone to success. As it was one of your starting project, could you elaborate on it?
Yeah, so there also, I think TCS also, I had to do my own little bit pushing. So what they did is, they put me in the, I don't know if you guys heard about the programming language called Fortran.
Yeah, we have heard it.
It was one of the, yeah, Unix and Fortran. That's what they
Yeah.
put me on.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I was in the TCS office. So they usually take the freshers and put it in whichever technology, they need more. But that is the technology which is no end to it. It's a very old technology. There's no growth in that. So then what I did is I looked around the training centers in Bombay.
Mm-hmm.
Then I paid from my pocket like 60,000 at the time. And then I went to the training, and then I got the training certificates. Then I went to, there is a team within TCS which is called Manpower Allocation Team. Those are the
Mm-hmm.
people who allocate you for the projects. So I went to that team. I said, "See, I did this latest technology course. Can you put me in that?" And then it
Okay.
took them a while, maybe a month or so. I was bugging that guys all the time, saying that, "Look, I have new technology, man. You don't have to train me. I already know.
Mm-hmm.
Just put me." So that's how I was able to switch from that old technology to the new one, and which they put me in Pune with Kirloskar project. So
Okay.
there also, it was, I was again doing being uncomfortable. That's what I was doing there. I
Yeah.
wanted to be uncomfortable. Because if you stick in the technology and company looks for their profit, company is interested in where they need people. They don't look for you. So if you think you need more skill, do side trainings all the time. I do that all the time. And here also MBA, a company paid a little bit, but I paid rest of it from my pocket. So
Mm-hmm.
you need to be like a lifelong learner, and
Yeah.
you should know that this is what I want to do. Go find some training, do that, get a certificate, and then jump from there to somewhere
Yeah.
else.
Skill upgradation along with experience is the best
Yeah,
part.
yeah.
Okay.
So you need to keep doing that because with technology, you'll quickly get outdated if you don't do that.
Yeah. So the next question is, what is your idea of recreational time? Like in your free time, what do you do?
Yeah, that's interesting. So I think I'm a movie bluff. I watch a lot of
Uh,
movies. But I like running on the street. That's another thing, like jogging. We call jogging in
okay.
India. So
Mm-hmm.
I do that running, movies, and then I'm not that much sports guy, but I play cricket once in a while. Uh, Tennis little bit, but it's more
Mm-hmm.
like these are couple of things. And I used to read books before, but no more. With the internet, you read the news now. That's about it. And then I do a little bit of stock investing. I spend some time on that. So this movies, jogging, stock investing, and then a little bit of tennis. Those are the kind of things I do.
Okay. So let's take our next question. As for higher education, what would you suggest? Should we pursue PG in India or abroad?
Yeah, that is a little bit tough one because especially the market for visas is becoming very hard. Like if you,
Mhm.
especially in America, it's becoming very hard for people to settle. So I think I would say it depends on what you want to do. Like if you are more like operational person, like you want to get into manufacturing or any kind of
Mhm.
manufacturing field, I would not say then you come out of country because manufacturing is better in India. But
Mhm.
if you want to get into more high-end technologies like kind of Facebook, Google, or any kind of Amazon, Apple kind of technologies, then you come out. But then you try to do some computer science related.
Okay.
So the way it works here is even if you take admission in mechanical or civil, whatever is your branch, you can
Mhm.
always add more courses to your skill. You can add courses, and then you can do masters that way. But if you are like, as I said, if you are like operations guy, manufacturing, or if you want to go to government services, any kind of like IPS, IAS, then there is no point in coming out of the country to do those kind of
Okay.
things.
Uh, there was one more question. Like everyone were planning to ask that, what's your favorite book? Like you have read. You mentioned that you had a habit of reading books. So which one was your favorite one?
Yeah, I think that's very hard to say now because I lost touch with the books now.
Okay.
Previously, I used to do. So right now, I mean, I used to like that. What was that? Yeah, I think I can't mention now. Looks like it was.
Okay.
It's to be like a fiction novels. That's what
Mm-hmm.
I used to read. Sherry Sheldon, something like that. That
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
yeah, it used
Sydney
to be my
Sheldon.
favorite. Yeah,
Yeah.
used to be my favorite at the time. But now, as I said, I'm only on the news. I'm pretty much
Okay.
reading whatever happening in terms of news, and then I follow mostly money news and all that,
Okay.
mergers, acquisitions, those kind of things. Yeah, it changed. I think when you are younger, you try to look for more like a fiction or non-fiction kind of books, but now it changed for me.
Yeah. So like few of the people from my board are really interested into like you mentioned about money financing thing. So what do you generally follow currently, like at your end?
Like, you mean the actual company
Yeah,
or the
the
website?
sources to get the knowledge
Yeah.
regarding that.
So I follow like CNN money
Mm-hmm.
in US. So, and then I also have like a brokerage accounts. Like, there are like a couple of companies which are brokerage account. So what they do is, every day they try to show you what is moving up, what is moving down, and then how the overall ranking of the stocks and those kind of things. So, but I think primarily my news is CNN Money. Money, that's
Okay.
a website I go to.
Okay. So yeah, there was again a question. What do you do in free time? Okay. Uh, there is one more question. Tell us more about New York stock market. Like someone wants to
US
ask.
stock. Yeah, so I don't know I don't know. It's a very open-ended question, but I'll tell you. So I think it may be similar to how Indian market is, but we have two exchanges. One
Mm-hmm.
is Nasdaq and one is NYSE, and so most of the stocks, what they do is, they list even some of the foreign stocks also. We call it as ADRs, American
Okay.
Depository Receipts. And then the stock market, usually, they have funds. We call in India, I think, uh, what do you guys call? There's a like a SIP. I don't know if you guys call it SIP. I don't know exactly what you call, but if you call it as ETFs, it's like exchange traded
Okay.
funds. It's a group of
Mm-hmm.
funds they make up. So S&P 500 is a fund
Yeah.
where top 500 companies are there. So a lot of people, they save through 401k, which is our pension fund in India, equal to pension fund. You save money in 401k, and that you can invest in S&P 500 or overall stock market. So like that, there are like funds, ETFs, we call ETFs. A lot of
Mm-hmm.
people do that. And I also do sometimes the startups and
Mm-hmm.
startup companies. Like I bought some in Lyft. I don't know if you guys
Yeah.
heard about the Lyft, which is
Review app.
like a Ola.
Yeah. Is
Yeah.
it okay? Yeah. Cab.
So yeah, cab one. So they
Mm.
went IPO recently last week.
Okay.
So I bought some in that. So there's a IPO market. There is but a lot of people who want to be conservative, they go into ETF, which is
Mm-hmm.
exchange traded funds, group of funds. You invest in that. You don't have to worry too much about it because it doesn't go too high, but it doesn't go
Mm-hmm.
too low also. It
Okay.
will be in the like middle. And that have a systematic investment plan, SIP plans, where people
Mm-hmm.
can invest monthly or every week some money into that.
It's like
So
mutual
I
funds
follow,
over here.
yeah.
Like mutual funds
We-
investment over here.
yeah, we do have mutual funds also, but this is also ETF, which is even less rate. What do you call
Okay.
less fees?
Mm-hmm.
It's a computer is managing the mix. It's not a person,
Okay.
and the mix
Mm-hmm.
doesn't change every month or quarter. It's like S&P 500. Whichever is the top 500 companies will be there for a couple of years. Nobody changes the mix. It
Okay.
will stay the same. Yeah, I mean it.
So.
I mean that is one way to be kind of making some extra income on the side. Sometimes you make,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes you lose. So
Yeah.
that's always a risk, always there.
So there was another question from a third year student. Majority of us being in third year, we were recently told that investing in stock market is one of the wisest thing you could do. What would you suggest? Like, would you suggest the same? Currently, we are in
Yeah,
third year
yeah.
with the like
See,
bare minimum saving.
so the way it works is, as I said, the stock has high risk, but if you
Mm-hmm.
do funds and then if you do stable fund, it'll grow. But
Mm-hmm.
India being like a small country and highly populated, I would think you will make more money in the property than in the
Mm-hmm.
stock market. That's my general
Okay.
observation. Especially in Bombay, I see if the money I had now at the time, if I had, I'm from a low income family, did not have much money, but if I had that kind of money Before, I would have been like, what do you call, karodpati. I would have been like that if would have done that, because India is like a landlocked, and then only cities grow. Anything you
Mhm.
buy today, after 5 years, I would say it will doubling most of the time. So maybe it is going faster than the stock market. And Indian stock market, sometimes it has a bubble. It's not visible, so you need to be a
Mhm.
little bit careful. So that's why the concept they use here is called diversification. I don't know if you guys heard about the
Yeah.
term. So it means you don't put all the
Only
money in the
in
stock
one month.
market. And also, even if you put in the stock market, don't put it on one stock, all the
Yeah.
money. You spread across the industry. Like you
Mhm.
put in some technology, you put some in manufacturing, you put some in stable, like, very stable industries like that. You need to
Mhm.
spread out, because a lot of times the risky stocks are always, uh, they show that they grow fast, but they can also shrink fast. They can go down fast too. So you need to be very careful. There are people who are millionaires, but you can be broke if you
Mhm.
do so much of the risk mix. So you need to be careful. But if you guys take any mutual fund, which is a stable mutual fund, I don't know the names from India, but if you take that where it has very big stable companies, the growth will not be there, but your money will be there. But instead of that, if you're able to invest in property, definitely you'll make more.
Uh, like there's other question. Like it's like it was going on finance route. Now like we'll shift a bit.
Okay.
Do college projects actually help in overall career or placement option? Technology being such a saturated platform, would you say projects is now a necessity or just a formality?
The project is necessary, because what happens is you have been learning through the books right now so
Mhm.
far, like what is a concept, how to do programming, or what is a mechanical engineering, strength of material, everything you learned as a concept, but you need to try out. A lot of times, the way I look at project is that is your first kind of a training into the real world,
Mhm.
first level of training. And also you should, it also depends on you. A lot of times what happens is people do project for namesake. If you do
Mhm.
project just for the namesake of the credit, you don't learn anything. I had a project where we did a vending machine
Mhm.
in Walchand.
Also.
So our project is vending machine. You throw in a coin through a slot, that will go and hit a lever, and that will call a solenoid wall. I think it's an electronically activated wall,
Mhm.
and then it will drop liquid for certain time, and then it will close.
Okay.
And that was we did as a finally a project in mechanical in BE. So like that, it is up to you. Project is a way for you to learn more, but you need to be excited to do it. Like some people go to some nearby industries, or they ask their uncle, auntie, some friend, hey, can I do something for your shop, or can I do
Mhm.
something for your business? And they do that, and then they learn a lot. So I don't think it is a formality, but if you take it as a formality as an individual, that you just want to do for the mark, just for the marks, if you want to do it, then you don't learn anything.
Okay.
So my two of the projects were pretty good, and one of the project actually gave me the job with
Mhm.
TCS, because the LNT, we did an industrial crane, and then we could have just did a math, we could have just done it on a paper some analysis, but we did a 3D model of how, if you want to change the distance of the crane, how the girders will design will look, versus if it is a smaller, if your height increase, and type of material if you change. We did couple of those with pictures, and then
Mhm.
it was sold, and then we learned a lot. We got new jobs, and then plus L&T also got a lot of uh, things for them, because they sponsor the project.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, so that's what I was saying. If you want to learn something new, you can make it as a project, and then and go ahead and learn.
mm-hmm.
So I think
uh,
that's how I look at it as. But some people just may do it for just getting the credit.
like at the starting of the talk, you mentioned that you being in the leadership position, you being in the vice president, president position, you are still connected with the technology and building products. Whereas in India, it happens in the other way. Like as you are getting promoted, like if you get into an MBA, your job description, your position completely changes from that. So, what's your call on that? That's how we should like inculcate that culture from college itself.
Yeah, so I think it is a little bit delicate balance. I would say if you're India, so the way I would do it is if you want to do like something like do some kind of a research, join an organization. Some of the organizations, even if they pay you well, but you are still hands on. Like suppose ISRO. If you go to ISRO, your title may be big, but you still have to do actual hands on. So there are some departments within the company, they do this kind of stuff. They're highly paid, they may be highly educated, but they still do hands-on work. So you need to find that niche. But in general, like if I take example of TCS, if you're MBA, you're just going to the management.
Yeah.
You go to the management, you get new projects, you do some costing, you manage the work. That's about it. You do it.
Mm,
So I think those organizations, then you don't want to join those kind of roles. Or if your passion is to do that kind of work, then you go ahead and join. So it's up to you how you do it.
mm,
but but a lot of times, in US, that's what I see. All the Indians, like even look at the professors and all that, they are very deep attached to what they do, and less they are doing the management work, less management work, more attached to what they do.
okay.
But there are other roles where people are just selling. They go for selling stuff, and then they don't, and then they make sure it is getting done, but they don't get physically involved in the technology itself.
Mm,
But those people quickly get outdated here because technology changes so fast, and if you're not involved for a couple of years, then you cannot even keep up, because it's
mm,
very hard to keep up if you're not involved. I mean, that's a career path I chose. So it's sometimes it's tough. You may not find in the same company where you are. Then you might have to change. Like in India, also there are a lot of companies who make new software
mm-hmm.
versus people who give just services.
Yeah.
If you are in the services,
Product based
technology,
stuff.
yeah, product-based companies. If you are in that, and if you are in the R&D of the product, you
Mm,
have deeply involved. Even if your title is VP, you will be deeply involved.
mm.
So that's personal interest, and then you need to find for that kind of jobs.
Uh, so, shall we take another question?
Yeah, go ahead. So I think how much time did we got? So
Yeah.
yeah, let's take a few more minutes, then let's
Okay.
wrap up.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So, what do you think will help us more working in a new startup or working in an MNC? Like straight away from the college, if you are pass out, what is a better thing, if to work in a well-established MNC or to go with a startup?
Yeah, so I think I would say it depends on what you like. See, a lot of times the culture of the startup is, first of all, you're not sure if they're going to survive. Okay, so they may or may not pay you much. Uh, and then there's no guarantee that it's going to survive. And then the second thing, the culture of the MNCs, there are no assigned processes or people. You may be doing everything. Sometimes you build a website or you build an app. Sometimes you go to the store to get some supplies for the office. And then sometimes you may be fixing something in the office. So you do everything as a
Mm-hmm.
small company. But
Mm,
whereas if you go to big companies, what happens is they'll send you through like a few months of training,
mm-hmm.
and then they may give you a good technology project, or they may not give you a good technology project. So I think it depends on what is your personality. Some people like freestyle. Don't tell me what I need to do, just give me a job, give me work, and I will figure out what to do. So if you are that kind of a person, then you go to startups, because at that time in that you'll have more autonomy on how you want to do what you want to do. You get to experiment things. But if you are a person who says, I need a proper process, I need somebody to guide me, I need to get a stable paycheck all the time, and then I don't have to look for things myself. There's always desk, there is a people who can support my laptop, people who can take care of whatever I need. Then you go to the MNC. So I think it depends on what type of person you are, and based on that you should decide. And startups are good. I'm not saying it's bad, but you need to have that entrepreneur kind of a mentality where you're ready to go in. Sometimes they may not pay you. Sometimes they may go bust, and
Mhm.
sometimes you may become a millionaire. You never know. It's like, do you invest in IPO versus a stable company?
Yeah.
That's exactly the same mentality. If you apply that, if you are the guy who likes just IPOs, I like taking risk. I want to go there. That's fine. But you're the guy, no, maybe I want to get into this, and then I want to get married, have a family set up. Or sometimes you may say that, no, I have 5 more years. I'm not going to get married or settle down. So
Mhm.
let me do startup. So both are good, but it depends on what type of person you are. That's what I'm saying. So.
Okay. So, like, this will be the last question.
Mhm.
What advice would you like to give to a engineering graduate from Walchand College at this moment of time? Like, any advice from your side? Like,
Yeah, I mean, my advice is basically, what you learned is good so far, whatever you learned, whatever is your background, whether civil,
uh,
mechanical, but always look for new ways to improve yourself. And then don't think whatever first job you get is the end of
mhm,
the world. A lot of times we are so picky that, oh, I want to only join this company. So don't look at what is a company, or what is a salary, but only look for, is it interesting technology, or is it interesting field. Sometimes those fields may or may not pay depending on type of the company and how big and how small. So always look for ways where you can learn more, and there is always time comes where you will make more money eventually, because
uh,
your knowledge, you are a knowledge worker. That's how I see anybody who is studying through any kind of bachelor's or master's. You are a knowledge worker. So your demand and everything depends on what is your skill. That's what you're selling. Like if you go to fashion industry, what they sell is their like appearance in the
mhm,
fashion industry.
yeah,
So they always try to keep up their appearance so that they can sell. They can be in the fashion, or they can be in the cinema if they are in a cinema industry. So our selling is our knowledge.
mhm,
So always strive for knowledge, money will follow you.
okay,
Money is not a big deal. If you have a good strength, even whatever field you are, a civil engineering, there's so much architectural stuff going on these days, like 60-story towers coming up, amusement parks coming up. There's so much, airports, big airports coming. There's no end to what you can do. There's a lot of greenhouse things coming up. There are a lot of related to greenhouse, like our greenhouse gases, how
mhm,
you do city plannings, smart cities coming up. There's a lot to do even for civil engineering. Same is a mechanical. There's a lot of robotics going on,
okay,
self-driving cars. Everything will be, in a way, will be automated in some form. And then there's a lot of robotics is needed for that. Computer science, that there's everything is a data these days. I was
mhm,
watching one of the video in a presentation. It was there was a guy who called what is that, Narayana Vrudalaya from Bangalore. It's like a
okay,
heart surgery medical center. So what he said is, I trust in God, for everything I need data.
mhm,
So that it was a really nice punchline. What he said is,
yeah,
you believe in God, but he does all the work. The patient, whatever he does the surgeries, he looks at the data, like your medical reports, all those things.
mhm,
So like that, you guys also trust in God, but believe in your skill, I would say.
oh, that's good. Like, I would like to mention few things. Like, from your talk, like, there were few words like constructive criticism, as you have mentioned, like feedback thing. We
Okay.
should be continuously seeking for feedback and trying to improve. And the second most important thing, what you mentioned about, is getting out of your comfort zone.
Yes,
and and the and the third important thing you mentioned was about attitude. Like, we being in third year, and whatever, like our e-pacers, like those who were previously part of pace and now they are in corporate world or any other position, these were the things we still follow. Like, I want to share with you actually that we still follow the same and we try to pass it on to the upcoming batch. And this has, I think that this has helped many people to achieve what they are today. And like, it was great to hear from your side too that these are the most important things, and we are trying to follow day by day. We are trying to improve on these particular things so that we could improve, and we could provide a better platform for upcoming juniors as well. So
yeah, definitely. I think these are life skills, whatever work you do. But if you don't have these kind of things, then you cannot grow or learn. Basically, that's what my observation. Because a lot of times, every 1 or 2 years you settle down somewhere, you think, I'm good now, I'm set for 5 years, 6 years. You don't do any much new learning. You don't try to, have attitude of, okay, let me learn more. So then you slowly become, outdated. Basically, yeah, it's just a basic life skills. And then, keep doing what you guys are doing. You guys are doing a great job.
thank
I'm amazed. Like, my part was only like 1 or 2 years, but you guys pulled it for 25 years, the same theme. Yeah, yeah, with zero contribution from me. So I don't do anything for the
you.
group now.
Next year there will be an alumni meet of your batch. So do you have any plan to visit India next year?
What
January.
January?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm going to come this year in July 3rd. I'm coming, and then I will be there for 3 weeks. But
Okay.
I see. As I said, I'm from Andhra Pradesh, so I go to Bombay. I go to Andhra Pradesh. By the time I visit two two sides of the family, and then most of my time is gone. But are you guys back in session in July or
Like, we need to check our schedule, but most of the third year guys will be over here. uh,
okay?
Second years will be joining in a later part of July, so we need to check.
Okay, yeah, I'm there since July 3rd to July 28th.
Okay.
That's what I'm visiting, but I'm not sure if I have time. But we'll see. If
Yeah.
it works out, I'll try to drop in.
Okay.
Okay, yeah,
And
I mean, feel free to reach out if you guys have any questions. And I also told people, once you leave PACE, you don't have to stop there. You can still keep connecting with the old PACE groups like e-Pacers, or make your own. It doesn't have to be PACE members, but keep the idea is you should constantly learn, constantly network, and
mhm,
constantly, have that attitude. And then you can make your own small group wherever you are. And if you're
mhm,
able to connect with the old e-pacers, that's good. But if not,
mhm,
also make your own small group. Go to Toastmasters, go to any clubs.
mhm,
You need to give time. As you grow old, you realize the time is the hard part. You
mhm,
have a lot of ideas, but you don't have time. By the time I go home, my kids are waiting. I need to drive them to activities, and then my office is some leftover work. So you realize the time is a critical. But unless you make time, you cannot do anything.
yeah, actually, like, e-pacers are a great help to us. This
Mm.
session actually was possible because of one of the e-pacer, that is Mr. Amay Gambhir. He was the one
Yeah.
actually, he gave me the details so that I could get in touch with you. And about coming to prudence as well, like, they have helped us a lot with the ideas, with the finances and whatnot. Like, we are continuously seeking feedback from them as well to
Mm.
develop our content and all. So
Yeah,
they
that's
are
good. I
playing a
mean,
major role in development of.
yeah, definitely, awesome. I mean, I think it's a very good group, and then you guys should, keep continuing that culture so that everybody benefits. The people who are leading now, they benefit. The people who are like juniors now, they're going to
Mhm.
benefit when they become seniors. So it's a good way for us to have that 4 years where you're building your academic skills, but also soft skills. That's very
Mhm.
important.
Okay.
Okay, so
So
anything else you want to wrap up or?
yeah, we'll wrap up. Actually,
Okay.
thank you from all of us, from Pace as well as from all the viewers as well. Like, it was a great thing to interact with you. We were trying so hard, and finally we have made it. So it's a huge
Mhm.
success on our part. So thank you from all of us.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I'm super excited to see that Pace has done 25
Yeah,
years and still
yeah,
going strong. People like you and whoever is all the board members, they're
yeah,
doing a great job. I would say that because usually student organizations, they don't survive if you don't have right people
yeah,
in the board. So I'm really excited for you guys. Yeah, feel free to drop an email.
yeah,
I'm kind of sometimes I don't respond. Too many things going on, but I always try to respond in a couple of days.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, guys.